Hello and welcome to Tobysblogs. Today I'm going to be talking about reincarnation. I've been watching a few videos online about reincarnation and yeah, some of them are really interesting, open kind of a lot of ideas and things maybe not thought about before. First I watched a video about the boy who'd lived before, which is a little documentary about a little boy who from the age of 2 remembers a life on Barra, which is in the Scottish Hebrides, which is a tiny little island north of England, right, really north of Scotland, and very unknown island. And from the age of 2 he just knew that the parents he was with weren't his real parents, and that he had this life on this remote island in Scotland. And that was just a really interesting idea, and they went there and he remembered a few things, and then finally tracked down the family and finally tracked down the house that they were at, and they went to the house and everything. But the things that he said, some of the things didn't make sense and didn't come to light. But there was this other story which I just watched by a woman called Barbara something, Barbara Keens or something, and she is Anne Frank. She's Anna Frank. She's the reincarnation of Anna Frank, and watching her video, I watched the whole thing about her life and everything, Barbara's life, and growing up with memories of being Anna Frank. And it's just so weird, the way that when she was 10, her family went to Amsterdam, and her father said, "Oh, we'll start with Anne Frank House," and they said, "Oh, we'll get a cab," and Barbara said, no, don't get a cab, I know exactly the way to go. None of them had ever been to Amsterdam before, and she took them all the way through the streets of Amsterdam. I've been to Amsterdam, so I know that it's not too easy to get around. Well, it is easy, just go through little streets, little alleyways, but it's full of little alleyways, little streets, across bridges. A lot of the bridges look exactly the same, and the streets, if I was walking around Amsterdam, I would have no idea where I'm going. All the bridges look the same, there's canals everywhere, the streets look similar. It's not easy to navigate, and she took her family, and she knew exactly where she was going, and she took her straight to Anne Frank's. So she knew exactly where. She'd never been there before, but she knew exactly where Anne Frank House was. And the moment she got there, she said, "Oh, they've moved the stairs weren't there before." And then she got emotional when she was in the house, and she felt so frightened. And then all these memories came back, and then she thought she was hit over by a Nazi. That she actually physically saw a person hit her who was a Nazi, and everyone was just looking at her. And it's weird that these people have these memories of their past life, and the rest of us, most of the population, do not have these memories. And it's so weird to think that I might have had a past life. But then as a Christian, I kind of feel like I don't want to be involved in this past life thing, because I don't want to die. I don't want there to be a point in time where I don't exist. And the reincarnation thing, because if I was reincarnated, the past me that could have been alive in the 1800s or in the 1900s, that person's dead, that person's gone. I can't remember that person, I can't remember that life. So that person's gone, and that means that when I die, I'll be gone. And if I'm reincarnated into someone else, that person will not remember me. But I think the idea is that you are the same person. It's just, is it like you're the same person with just your memories wiped? And it's really interesting, thinking about it. It's like, you are the same person. Like Barbara, when she was born, age of 2, started talking about her being Anne Frank. she is Anne Frank. They are the same person, but in a different way. They are different people. They're not the same person because they were brought up differently in different times, but they share the same memories. But then if people are born with no memories whatsoever of their past lives, then they're not the same person because they can't remember the other person, so they're a completely different person. And the person before was brought up in a completely different time, so they were a completely different person to what you are now. And it just gets really complicated. Because, was the person who I was before the same as the person I am now? I don't know. But then, if we did have past lives, why isn't there any pictures of ourselves as part? Well, we don't know who we were in a past life. Let's go for a past life regression. But I think the theory is you don't look the same. You might be the same person, but you won't look the same. You won't be called the same thing. But if you look at Barra and Anne Frank, they look very similar. And you can see Anne Frank in her. And so, it's weird. Because if you can, like on your spiritual side things, you can contact your spirit guides. And in your spirit guides, they can tell you about your past lives. And I'm sure when I was talking about my past lives, it was something to do in the 1800s. And that I had a friend, and this friend was my spirit guide, who is now. I was executed for certain crimes with someone who I loved. Well, that's either me making it up or what I heard. I don't know, but it's weird at your past lives. Or is it only because if you have a traumatic death that you come back as someone else? There's so many things to think about. If you die tragically, do you then get a second chance and come back as a different person, or the same person but get a chance to be someone else? Like Anne Frank, she died horribly in the Holocaust, and so she got a chance to live again. And Barra, she writes books. She's continuing Anne Frank's dream of writing books, and it's given her a chance to make her mark on the world. Even though Anne Frank did make her mark on the world. But yeah, and this boy in Barra, he might have died tragically. He died as a child, so yes, as a child. But then on the documentary, there's a person who died, and then came back as their father's grandfather, their father's father, and he didn't die tragically because he already lived his life. So I don't know. It's weird, this reincarnation thing. But yeah, they're my thoughts. Tell me what you think. Comments below, and yeah, interesting thought. There'll be a link below to the Anne Frank Barra video, so you can check out. It's about 30 minutes, but it's worth watching. It's really interesting. But you do actually forget listening to her that she's Anne Frank. I keep saying, yeah, she's Anne Frank. It's weird. Okay, thank you for listening. Goodbye.